What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Heavy Duty Country. If you love the true good old American way of being, this is the channel for you. So let's start with this. When Sleepy Joe was talking about what he was going to do for us, the American people, what is one of the things that he said? It's hard to believe that this has to be said, but unlike this president, I'll do my job and take responsibility. I won't blame others. And I'll never forget that the job isn't about me. It's about you. All right, so y'all just remember that. So if you watched my last episode, I talked about how Biden was at Camp David on vacation while all of this stuff in Afghanistan was going on. And so his handlers were probably like, hey, Joe, you probably should come back and say something. You know, I know margaritas are important. I know ice cream cones are important. I know sniffing things is important, but you should probably come back and say something. This is what he says in his press conference.
Afghanistan political leaders gave up and fled the country. The Afghan military collapsed, sometime without trying to fight.
All right. Way to take responsibility, Joe. Look, it's no big secret that we've wanted to get out of Afghanistan for a long ass time. Trump had it in place, ready to go. But Sleepy Joe, just because something needs to be done, does it mean that you do it not being prepared? Does it mean that you do it without knowing what the hell is going on? It's kind of like somebody needing a haircut and they're real picky about how their hair is done. And you have two options. You can either do it yourself at home or you can go to a barber shop. This is the same thing. We were not prepared. So Biden gives this speech. I thought he was going to just totally fumble through it. He actually did decently, except for this one thing.
Time, limited in scope, and focused in its objective.
It took me like 3 or 4 times to figure out what he was saying there. But then after 20 minutes of giving this long, grueling speech that took so much energy out of him, I mean, at one point, it looked like he was going to go down again and start whispering.
Left again to ask of those who argue that we should stay.
Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei!
How many more generations of Americans?
He goes back on vacation right after. Meanwhile, the Taliban are having a big old round table meeting in the presidential palace in Kabul. And then on top of this, our State Department is trying to get the Taliban to include women in their government. All right, this is what I don't get. Sleepy Joe, you totally botch the exit of the U.S. citizens and our troops out of Afghanistan. The Taliban takes over. And then you think that you're going to try to apply the same woke BS that you're trying to apply here to the Taliban? They are savages. They cut people's heads off just because of their nationality. They're screaming in the streets currently, "Death to America."
They're just chanting "Death to America."
And y'all want to take the woke approach. Let me get real with everyone for a second, especially the people who voted for this clown. Now you understand why we don't buy into your woke BS. Now you understand why we appreciate our military and our law enforcement. All of y'all woke lefties who think that you were going to have all of your issues solved if Sleepy Joe got in the White House. I'm sorry to tell you, but you not being comfortable being born with a dick is not an issue. We don't care. That is not a U.S. issue. That's either a mental issue or a you issue that you need to deal with. What is our problem is now thousands of Taliban terrorists that want us dead have been released. Where do you think they're gonna go? What do you think is on their mind? Do you think it's on their mind that when they try to come to the US, they're gonna be like, well, I I'm not wearing a mask, so I don't know if I can go into this Target. We are in total chaos. Forget all this stuff. Forget everything about what is going on in our country right now. Forget about all of it. Left, right, woke, old school, forget it. Now we have a very different issue. And it's that if we aren't respected or we don't get respected soon as a nation, one of these outside countries that hates us may grow some balls and may try to bring a war to us. And then what I would like to see is all of you woke people who are worried about all of these BS issues like men and women's sports and talking about critical race theory in school. I want you on the front lines trying to pitch that stuff to the Taliban or another terrorist organization. You on the left are clueless.
On the issue of critical race theory, but I do think it's important, actually. I want to understand white rage, and I'm white.
Now you understand, Mark Milley, why we don't care about you talking about white rage and critical race theory. And now you understand why we defend our right to own guns. The moral of what I'm trying to say is we need to bring America's balls back. We need to drop all of the woke BS issues. Because right now, our leadership is weak. And other countries that hate us see it.